にこれまで出させるとは。調子つきやがってボケが笑わせるなよ。次内頃やんな。校長も校長先生。これでどうだ。ラッキー。まだわからないのか。お前の価値がついえたことに。我慢運かヒート。体力勝負は俺の名前だ。ソニックブリッター。Mr. Hawk, that's what you want.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Prince of Tennis 2005 Crystal Drive. So, today we're actually playing the Rukaku, right? Rukaku Chu doubles team of Saiki Kyojiro, which is the guy, you can't really tell the difference, huh? It's the guy that's right now playing closer to the front. The person that's serving is Itsuki Marihiko. He is the guy that's serving, and he has a sort of prominent nose. You can tell the difference. Yeah, he has a prominent nose. You can tell the difference between them, sort of, when you actually see their portrait. But in their small in-game sprite, they kind of look the same. It's kind of suck because they have pretty much the same color hair, except Saiki, I think in the anime they made it white, or at least. It's definitely a lighter shade of brown, whereas here, and I think maybe in other the depictions, for example, like the manga, whenever they color it or whatever, I think they just put light brown, but whatever. I used to actually really like Saiki just because he had light white hair, so I thought he would probably be a really cool character. But as I've already explained before, when I saw the sort of, I guess, arc of Segaku facing against Rukaku, I didn't really watch it all too well. It was kind of sort of scattered all about. So I didn't really sort of give them too much mind, and it's kind of, I've been kind of sort of this whole time confused whether or not I actually did miss any episodes. Because at the same time, this series doesn't really care too much about them. They're kind of just there. I mean, because Furuhime is sort of the rival team of Segaku. That's only because, you know, Tachibana and Tezuka are kind of close, and they're both like prodigies or whatever. But Furuhime sucks, really. They're sort of the dark horse always. Everyone doesn't expect them to win, but they do really well. Whereas, you know, Hyote is one of the best teams because they have like 200 members. You know, they're this huge, rich school. Hirikidiki, I don't remember how to say their name, but they're the best school in general, aside from, you know, Segaku, but they're the ones that, you know, win first in tournaments. Yamabuki Chu, I think, is maybe the best in the area that Segaku's from. I'm not exactly sure. They're like, you know, third place or something like that, but Rukaku is, you know, really irrelevant. Them and also Shang Rodolfo, they're pretty much just kind of there. The only reason Shang Rodolfo is relevant is only when you see, what's his name? Futa, just because he's Fuji's, you know, brother. That's really the only relevance Shang Rodolfo has. They don't really have any prominent player. Like, they have this sort of really good player, quote unquote, but at the same time, he's not really great. I don't think he's even won any matches. I don't even think he's been in a lot of matches. So he's really irrelevant. So when it comes to these guys, I'm kind of like, all right, them. I only know them because, you know, they're irrelevant, which is kind of ironic. But anyways, so they're a doubles team. Saiki is actually a doubles player for the most part. He has a couple of specials. One of them you've seen already, where he sort of commands his teammate to go towards the ball, which is pretty interesting. He's sort of the kind of doubles player that sort of controls the game, sort of, I guess, tactically rather than, you know, physically, if that makes any sense. He has a couple of specials. They don't really come into play too much in this game, I don't think. There's this super special shot, which if I had racket KO would wreck shit, because you lose 2 rackets because of that, and you don't have 1. Which is another reason why I turned off the racket KO, because, I mean, the team or rather, sorry, the opponent knows how to use that all too well, and they use it to their advantage as much as possible, which really sucks because I don't know how to do it. First of all, I know because when you get the super special shot, you have to go into super mode, so your bar has to fill up, and you have to, you know, press the bumpers and X, and that'll put you in super mode. In super mode, you have to, I think once again, when the ball is coming down, you press bumpers and X. Might just be X, but I'm pretty sure it's bumpers and X to do the super special shot. In which case you have like 3 seconds or something to, on the bottom screen, tap these like 5 symbols in a specific order corresponding to your character to do your super special shot. I don't know any of those fucking orders, nor do I have the sort of, I guess, speed or tact to do them properly. Even before, when I used to play this a bunch, I was just never able to really figure it out. So maybe later on, now that I'm older and wiser, I can figure it out, but we'll see. Anyways, that's aside from the point. So he basically just has a team special, and he has a couple of volleys that he can use up at the net. This guy, because of his nose, they refer to him a lot as a train. But he just used one of his specials just now, where it just basically, I think it just gets rid of his entire bars and it gives him a full special bar, or some sort of conversion of that sort. So that's pretty interesting. He also has a high bouncing lob, which we've seen a couple of times, and this other random move that he just used that just kind of goes, I think it bounces erratically in one direction once it lands, but I haven't really let him use it. So as you can tell, they're not exactly, not only are they sort of irrelevant in the series, but they're not exactly certainly powerful in the game either. The only really good characters are Aume, who we already used, who has, you know, the long reach and the spinning backhand. He's alright, not exactly too strong. He doesn't really have any, you know, crazy powerful special. His stats are solid. Whereas we also have Aoi, who has these really interesting specials and this interesting concept of, you know, we can use them when he's losing and whatnot, so that's pretty interesting. But there's also this other character who I used to use a lot in this game. He's probably the character that I use the second most, to be honest. That is my watch. I gotta remember to turn that shit off because I have a sort of alarm that goes off every hour. Anyways, they have this guy called Kisarazu Ryu, who's the brother of the other guy, the headband guy with the crazy flips and shit. That's his brother. He has some pretty interesting moves. He, for example, he's really short, so he can sort of maneuver his racket in a way that turns into a smash. I always thought that was really funny. And he can move around the court really quickly because he has 2 specials that allow him to like move up and move back on the court, so those are really interesting. He also has the same special as his brother, which allows him to what's it called? You know, go for the smash and then spin around into the drop shot. And you know, he has a really good arrangement of specials. His stats aren't too great though, but when he comes up, I'll hopefully end up using him a good amount. Anyways, I should probably talk a little bit about the game, shouldn't I? Pretty much halfway through the video and I haven't really talked too much about the game. It's just because there's not really too much to say. Kind of already went over Jackal last time, so I guess maybe I'll go over Taka this time around. Not really too much to say about Taka. He really only has 2 specials, or rather 3 specials. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. He has 3 specials. One of them is just a serve. Not much to say there. It's just really strong serve. It's not very fast, but it just, you know, blows your opponent back or blows the racket out of their hands. And he has 2 moves on the court, which are just his Hadokyus, which we've talked about before, which is just basically a homage or ripoff of the Hadouken. And there's one where he just kind of supposedly charges up all his energy into the racket hit, and it just hits really deep, heavy shots that break rackets. He just has 2 of those. One of them is single-handed, which you just saw, and he has a 2-handed one, which is presumably more powerful. And that's about it. It's not exactly much to write home about. I mean, I used to really like Taka in the series just because he was really funny. because he has this sort of gimmick in that whenever he touches a racket, he gets really sort of fired up and, you know, starts speaking broken English, which is really interesting. And he also, when he doesn't have the racket, he's just, you know, this really calm, sincere, friendly kind of guy. But as soon as he gets to the racket, he's all fired up, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah, that's about it. So we're 3-2. We're up 1 game. These guys are playing some somewhat solid tennis. I'm switching the tactics here and there. I don't remember, since I did the tactics, I actually did it in a video, so I could probably look back at it and find out what I did. But I ended up setting up a specific set of tactics, but none of them really made too much of a difference, especially since I tried it on to use specials. Look at this. Did you see that beautiful rally just now? Like, that's oh man, that was good. That was good. I wish I could make like a highlights video and just put that in there. Anyways, I remember a long time ago I set up the tactics in the game for doubles, but the only issue is I just want another one of his specials. Makes him really good at the net, I guess. Because he's not exactly moving. Wow, that was crazy. He's not exactly moving really quickly, but yeah, that was crazy because just did a complete like 180 in midair. That's cool. Anyways, I set up the tactics a long time ago, but I don't remember them being how I set them up, and I didn't really like how they were working because I was hoping that they would make Jin at my partner at the time, use his specials a lot, but he didn't really, no matter what tactic I used, so I just ended up sticking with the base one. That being said, I've sort of been switching here and there in this tournament. Taka actually manages to use his special every once in a while. He fucked up. He was taunting like a jackass, so we ended up giving them away service ace. But yeah, aside from that, Taka's been a pretty decent partner. I haven't really had too many complaints. He hasn't really done anything astronomical, really. He doesn't use his specials like key points or anything like that. He covers the field relatively well, considering his sort of his coverage stats, because he has really low speed and quickness. But he's actually able to do pretty well. You know, he doesn't let me down, presumably. There was no way he could have gotten that. Well, I just hit my pop filter. There's no way he would have gotten that ball because that was on the other side of the court. So I understand that. But he's done really well. He hasn't let me down. He hasn't been extremely, you know, like he hasn't won games for me, but he hasn't lost games for me, as opposed to, you know, Jin, who would kind of just stand around and get aced a bunch of times, and like, I don't know what it was, because they're both the same difficulty, because to get a stronger doubles partner, you have to like do this sort of I don't want to say dating sim, but basically dating sim kind of game where you have to like befriend your doubles partner and feed them like the kind of food that they like to level up their sort of likeness to you or whatever. But I don't sort of, since the game is in Japanese, I can't really do that as easily. I have to like have a guide on me, you know, figure it out. So maybe for the next tournaments I'll do that. I know I did it for some guy. I think my most previous doubles tournament, I did it and I fed the guy, but it didn't make a difference because he was still low, so I guess I had to feed him a whole bunch more. But what are you gonna do? This is game 5. This was a relatively long game. I guess there were like a lot of really long rallies. I didn't really sort of we didn't really lose a lot of games per se, but at the same time it ended up being like good chunk of time. Usually games that are pretty this straightforward don't take me so long, but I guess, yeah. I mean, it is a doubles game. Doubles rallies are usually, in this game, they're usually a lot longer than actual rallies. It's a little bit different in actual tennis. You would think rallies are a little bit longer in actual tennis just because there's, you know, 2 players and whatnot, and it could happen, but I find it to be a lot more sort of the other way around, that the rallies, or rather the points, are a lot shorter, just because of the fact that since it's a doubles game, there's a lot of different. See, if I had racket KO on there, we would have ended up losing the entire game at, you know, 5-2. That would have been some dumb shit. Anyways, given the way you can maneuver on the court differently as if you were playing singles, you get a lot of different angles in. And since there's you know, you have to worry about where your teammate is going to be also, and you kind of have to like trust them. That shortens the points basically. So maybe that's just me, but that's just sort of what I've seen. I just seen doubles points to be a lot quicker, which is why another reason why I believe, you know, if doubles was a lot sort of strenuous and longer points, you wouldn't see that being default for example, older people. Because a lot of older people that play doubles, since they can't move around the court as easily. But if the points were a lot longer and strenuous, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense, now would it? So even though they can cover the court effectively, or you know, cover the court not so much effectively, but better. Because it's not effectively if you're using two people in a game. You're just covering more of the court in general. Even that, the fact that you have to factor in another person's sort of, I guess, stats, for lack of a better word, you know, their technique and their movement and their thought process, you have to factor all that in to the game, makes the points actually come in shorter. But that's just me. This is the last point, hopefully. Nope, that is not the last point. This is the last game, I hope. We're at match point here. We got a break point left. Got Taka here receiving the serve. Hopefully he can smack it pretty good. We got Saki lashed his effort with his net play, trying to smash it, not gonna do this shit. Ooh, good job Taka. That would have, oh my god, good job Taka. That would have really sucked. And I'm just gonna finish this off. Taka, good fucking job. See, that's what I mean. He doesn't lose games for us, but he also doesn't, you know, he didn't win any of those points either, which I'm fine with. Just don't lose. You don't have to win points, just don't lose points like Jin did a bunch of fucking times. I know it's been like a year or two since that, but fuck him, man. That was stupid. Alright, anyways. That's gonna do it for today. Next time we'll be in the semifinals. So, stay fresh.
Predictable.